hosts of Speaking the Facts with Charlie and JR, broadcasting live each week on Wednesday at 7 p.m. from Fishbowl Studios.
Log on to hear us Speaking the Facts on current events, family, and finances.
So be sure to log on each week on Wednesday at 7 p.m. to catch Speaking the Facts with Charlie and JR.
Tune in.
Okay. What's up? What's up? This is we are back. This is Speaking the Facts with Charlie and JR, and of course I am JR. My lovely daughter and co-host is on the other side. Charlie, what's up, Charlie?
Hey, Dad.
How you doing, baby?
Doing good. How you doing today?
I'm above ground, so it's a good day. I
It's
have
a
no
good
complaints,
day.
none whatsoever. I'm gonna go ahead and get the little bit of the housekeeping out of the way. Speaking the
Yes.
Facts with Charlie and JR is brought to you by Kiss Wealth Now, taking care of all of your commercial and your residential real estate needs. Tell them how to get Kiss Wealth Now, Charlie.
So they can always go to my website 24/7 at kisswealthnow.com all together, or they can call me 214-738-4913, and we're just here to help anytime buyer, first, second, third, fourth. If you want to own real estate, we want to help you.
And last year you were number 6 in the state of Texas.
I know.
This year you're number
Yeah.
12 so far.
Right,
so
right,
yeah,
yeah,
so,
yeah.
so
We're working on it.
we also are brought to you by
Yes.
Kiss Health Now, because your health is truly your
Your
wealth.
wealth, yes.
And I've been saying every week, if you're not healthy enough to spend your money, somebody is standing in line.
And you ain't never lied.
Well, with
Give me
pleasure.
some. No. I'll do it. No.
Yeah.
Me too.
I know, right?
So really quickly, I want to acknowledge the Speaking of Facts crew, our alter egos, the Fly Guy and the Fly Girls. I am, don't call it a comeback because I've been fly, and over there we got Fly Money on the other side, and the
Money.
third member of the Speaking of Facts team, our producer, Kim, a.k.a. This Shit's Fly. What's up, Kim? Hey.
Right.
So we got Taylor over there on the knobs and faders. How you doing, Taylor?
Yes. Hey.
So,
And then she said,
so without any further ado, I think I'm gonna let you go ahead. I know we got two ladies here today, because actually this is a men's panel, and
Right.
so they are. We got Charlie and we got Jackie here. How you doing, Jackie?
I'm doing fine. How are you, sir?
I'm above ground. It's all good.
That's
it's
all
all
good.
good.
It's all good, yeah.
Better
so-
to be seen than not viewed, huh?
That's right.
Right, there
That's
you
right.
have it.
That's right. I'm standing on the dirt. It ain't laying on me. So it's all good. So, but I'm gonna let you go ahead and introduce what we're gonna do here.
okay. So, as Deb was saying, we have a men's panel. We have two men that are going to be interviewed by, and I say interview, we're going to have a conversation with Paul Miller, who's here from Ohio. So we were so honored and happy to be able to snab him, and him say, yes, I'm going to come talk. And then, of course, y'all know the old man over there.
Oh, see,
My
I didn't have my
dad.
guard up. I forgot.
My dad. And then my sister here, Miss Jackie Proby. So we've been friends for, 20 years, I feel like.
20 years.
Yeah.
About that, the boys are 20.
20, yeah.
20 this
Since
year?
you're-
Yep.
Yeah, so a long time.
Long time.
So today we're going to just ask questions to the man, not necessarily, I won't say all gender questions, but, we definitely want the male's viewpoint on these questions. So would you like to start us off?
You can start us
Okay,
off. It's
so
your show.
Okay, well, Paul. Okay, all right. So, Paul, tell everybody a little bit about you, your marital status, all the good things.
Okay, yes, my name is Paul Miller, and I'm from Dayton, Ohio. I've been married it'll be 40 years in August.
Woohoo!
Are you
Yes,
saying 40 or
40
40?
40 years.
40 years.
Yes,
Woo-hoo!
Yes.
And I have 3 daughters and 1 son and a host of grandchildren I just love dearly.
A host of them.
Yes.
And so then of course we have Dad, and so you are considered as dating, right?
Yeah,
Title.
Yes. Well, yes. Although I have moved down the dating road. Yes, but
Okay.
we are moving right along.
Okay. Okay. So now, I had, wanted to come up with some questions, and so Jackie's going to ask questions as well. So my question that I wanted to start off with that I thought was pretty interesting is, in this day and age, and going back from, you have, obviously you've been married for a long time, but back then and now, are men looking to date more for love or lifestyle?
That's very interesting. Question, because I believe that as myself, when you're young, you really don't know what you want in a relationship. It's the visual stimulation that at first attracts you, right?
Right.
And so, for me, it was I wanted the physical attraction, and I
Right.
wanted someone with good values. I knew that that I would be attracted to. It was only after I've been married that I came to grow in a relationship and understand that my wife, is a major contributor.
Right, right,
and
right.
I definitely learned to appreciate that, right?
Right, right.
So had I known what I know now,
Right.
it would have been the lifestyle. But yeah,
Right.
as a young man, her
Right.
beauty is what
What got you.
separated
Caught you
her,
first.
caught my
Right.
attention.
Caught
for
your attention
sure.
first.
So,
Yes.
Yes.
So what was the other choice other than lifestyle?
It was love or lifestyle,
Well, let's think back to your younger you.
Yeah.
Because we have two more tenured gentlemen on the panel today. So that you are going to have a somewhat of a different perspective, I'm going to assume now,
Yeah.
than
Right.
you probably would have. So let's talk to the 18-year-old Paul and JR.
Oh, okay.
Let's talk to those
Okay.
guys, and then we'll bring you up to the more current ones,
Right,
right?
right.
To where you are now.
Fair enough.
I think I was interested in love first, but I did not understand what love was fully at 18.
Right.
So it was definitely physical attraction, and it was other
He's
than
going back like, who
other-
was
yeah,
it?
I'm like,
was it
trying to
Sally?
figure out
Was it
the names.
Brenda? Was it,
I'm like,
like, who did I love? And who I thought
She's all over the place.
excuse me while I whip out my roller day.
I know, right? Who was the arm candy?
Right.
Yeah. Who was going to be the trophy, right?
Yeah.
'Cause remember that old term, like having a trophy wife.
It ain't too old now.
Well, it's not too
still
old,
the
but it's
same.
still the same, right? Yeah, yeah. The
But,
trophies just maybe come a little bit different now. Right?
Trophies are definitely made different.
But love was important. But like I said, it was mainly physical. I didn't learn how to start really talking to women until later. And like you said, and as by the time I got to 24, 25, things start to change a little. But it was definitely physical in the beginning. I wasn't, men aren't taught to, at least the men in my generation. I'll get the old joke out on myself, but
Right,
at least
right.
the men in my generation, we weren't taught to focus on a lot else.
Except for just looks.
Yeah,
Just
we
you're a
focus
good-looking
on
woman.
the looks, and you the hunter gatherer, you go out and catch and you get the prize, and that's kind of what it was,
Right.
coming forward into the like the blaxploitation movies of the 70s, that was the dude, that was the
Shaft.
You want
Yeah.
the Pam Grier,
The Pam Grier Shaft.
Okay.
Pam Grier, you got my vote.
Okay, so let me ask you something, Paul, because you said something about values. So what values will you not compromise on, both to you guys, compromise on now? Like what values do you hold that there's just no compromising on those values?
Well,
question.
for myself, I was brought up in a Baptist, household, and so I had certain Christian precepts. And because of that, I was wanting someone who, perhaps had some faith in God, some
Okay.
service, some belief system already in place, one that they would honor and and be true to, because I was true. I mean, all my life, whether I was acting like it or not, I really had, believed in God, and it was always in the back of my mind. And as I became a young man in search of that person that I would want a relationship, I was pretty settled in my belief system with regard to, believing in God and wanting to be that.
So that's a value
Yeah.
you're not going to compromise on.
No.
What about you, JR?
Okay, so I'm sorry, I got distracted. So ask me that question again. I'm sorry.
What values will you not compromise on then and now?
Then and now. I'm trying to see if there are any common ones, but even then, I would not compromise on. Although I did, I did not want to compromise. I did not want to compromise on how I was spoken to. I did not. That was very, very important to me, and then and now. I did not want to compromise on, at least in the beginning, faithfulness in a relationship. That as I wore my wounds on my sleeve, that began to change. Instead of me processing them, I kind of wore them. Let's see, values. I guess one other. I had my values when it came to my kids didn't change, because I had kids as a young man, huh, Charlie?
That's right. That's right. When he was looking for love. So, I know you're coming in, but introduce yourself. And the question was, what values are pretty much that you
A non-negotiable for you.
For you.
I can't say then and now because you still look relatively young.
Yeah, he's like the day over 29.
Yeah, oh, okay.
And also, say your marital status as well.
My name is Teton Moffitt. I am 52 years old,
Oh, wow.
a young 52,
That's right.
and I am married. And so the question,
What values were non-negotiable
then and now.
then and now?
Well, I'll be quite frank and honest. I didn't understand what values at that particular time were. I only emulated what I saw my father do.
Okay.
I was a child of a young parent, 15 and 17.
Okay.
And so the only thing I knew was to be present physically. I didn't understand the emotional safety, all those kinds of things as a young 21-year-old father.
Right.
But as I've gotten older, one of the most important values to me is integrity and safety. And when I say safety, I'm talking about emotional safety for both sexes or both
Exactly.
partners.
That's right.
And then being and understanding how to communicate with that person. And I'm talking things that are not being said. A lot of things we're trained to see, but I just think it's important to be authentic.
I love that.
I love that. I love that. So you guys are some good guys.
See, well,
Really, really good men.
well, wait, Teton, before we
Yes,
went
sir.
on the air, we were accused of being too nice, and that we might need a cat that was had a slightly less, honorable view, of the female species, so we could get some, some tension and draw some things out.
Right. So, and that,
But it's actually very nice to be amongst men that are very mature and more in tune with themselves.
Right. And then the young men watching this can maybe say, you know what, I can
Yeah.
pull something from this because we're not going to get separation here. Meaning we're not trying to put men against women. It's all about love. It's all about community, right? The
Yes.
that needs
Common
to happen,
unity.
Common unity that needs to happen between men and women. For us to continue to do what we're supposed to do, procreate and have this world continue. One other question I wanted to ask, it's not so much then, this is probably more so now, but has social media made it easier or harder, do you guys believe, for, love? Because, of course, now we can only go back, 20 years? When there was like MySpace,
Yeah.
MySpace.
I do remember MySpace.
MySpace.
I think it's made it harder because
Old school and new school.
see,
think
wait,
paints a false
I just gotta
expectation.
leave my guard up today. But I think it's harder because the screen allows you to create a facade. It allows you to create an alter ego that might not necessarily represent who you really are. And it's easy to hide behind a text or hide behind a screen. And so I think that genuine communication has gotten harder. I think that's evidenced by some of the communications that you read on social media. How just cavalierly indignant people can be,
true.
And so that's my take on it,
Yeah, for me, it looks like it would just be like taking maybe a kid in a candy store in today's modern with social media, man. I mean, first of all, when I was young, I was shy.
Right.
And so I wasn't willing to just approach any female that might interest me, right? In fact, when I met my wife that I've been married to 40 years, I actually was asleep in the library, and then I woke up out of a stupor and said, "Where you going?" and she spoke back, and then we've been together. Yeah. I don't know if I would have said something had I not been in that stupor, right? It's almost like God put me to sleep and then woke me up. But
On purpose.
on purpose. But in all fairness, I was my situation was a little different because I went to the military, and the military changed me. You know, so I'm not the same person that was before I went to the military at 18. So by the time I went to college, after being in Germany, man, I was looking for a soul sister, someone was, so I could be with.
Right.
So I came back with a purpose,
You knew what you wanted,
I know I may have wanted that relationship more than I wanted my degree. You know, I've been in Germany for 3 years, right? So, I know that it wasn't easy. I was just lucky. Right?
There you go. Right.
You weren't lucky. Luck runs out.
Okay.
You were blessed.
I was blessed. Okay.
And favored. Because he that findeth a wife. What?
Find favor. Right.
There you go. So you weren't lucky. Luck runs out.
Right. Exactly.
What about you?
I believe that the only thing that social media has done is amplified the voices, right? And it's taking the voices and opinions outside. If you grew up in the 80s and 90s, everything was on the inside. Communication was the same. You just had more access physically with people. I just think it's amplified because it causes people to groupthink. And everybody wants to hear, there's never no access to challenge something that you don't agree with. It's programmed to either like it, right?
Cancel it, right?
Or you know, and so I just think it's amplified in multiple ways, but it also has impacted our ability to communicate in a very cohesive way. I think our communication has been shortened, right? So when we talk about words like ping, ping, you know, we're talking in computer language now. We're no longer talking like humans.
Wow.
And so I think the dynamics of what's happening with social media and relationships is causing everybody to come together as annoyed, and everybody echoes the same kind of trauma or the same kind of victory. It just depends on what the narrative is. And
I think that's why it's gotten more difficult, though, because of just what you said, that it shortens our language. But America, as is, you know, when you talk about a highbrow society and a lowbrow society,
right.
You know, a highbrow society, they use less words, but the words have more meaning. But America has gotten to be a very lowbrow society where people like to use a lot of words, you know. But because of social media and things being shortened, those words aren't being used.
Right, and then,
so I think that impedes it.
And also, people will say the right thing, but won't say the real thing, because how things look, how things look is what matters the most. Right, and so we never get an opportunity to deal with things for what they really are, because the reality of it is you're going to have to lie if you're going to maintain an image. And so I just think that, you know, sometimes the process of how we project ourselves and how we feel about relationships is nothing more, the internet is nothing but a mirror to the condition of individuals' hearts. So imagine them all coming together as a magnet, and then that voice is magnified, and whatever that voice is for the day will be the overarching narrative.
Is that go ahead.
So let me ask you this question, and you were speaking of conflict. In today's society, I think we can all agree that we're somewhat coming up in the same age group.
Yes.
The majority of us on the panel.
Well, how old are you?
21, baby.
I know, right?
Never would be nothing but 21. Lucky number. 21. 21. So with that, we handled conflict differently. We were more raised to be more private. In today's time, everybody puts their business, marital business, everything is out on Facebook or TikTok. How do you guys handle conflict or conflict resolution within your own marriages or relationships versus taking it to Facebook and
taking it to the people
and getting the people to weigh in on what's going on in your household? How do you guys handle conflict in this society where everybody likes to? I just know a time where women were not so forthcoming about a lot of our private business, but now it's like they say everything, girl, my this is here and my that is here.
Right, and people are saying, well, you don't have a journal no more.
Yeah, or people just talk about it so flippantly.
Yeah, it's like, where's the journal?
So how do you guys handle those types of conflicts within your marriages or relationships? how do you guys handle that without taking it to the public? And what do you feel about that?
Well, I think it's for me. I'll generally speak for me personally. I generally don't exercise that level of exposure, not even to how I'm feeling, right? Because I recognize the audience, and I recognize that things are not what they always seem. And so the idea that people can profile you psychologically when you're constantly updating your emotions, your thoughts, and your feelings, and so that information is being stored. So I would encourage myself and others to start there. Everything you put on the internet doesn't go away because you delete it. And so they're generating a ID online of who you are. So for me to get on the internet, I think one of the things that we talk mostly about, or at least I try to express, is that the privacy and the integrity of conflict should never be on the internet, because if you're putting it on the internet, then there's a need for validation. Self-validation. You want somebody to agree with how you feel instead of sitting with the person that you have conflict with. And so it's easy to go to the internet because, again, these are my friends. I have parasocial relationships. They know how I feel because I update them with 146 characters every day. So we try to handle our conflict the best way we can, and try not to showcase those things on the internet.
Right.
It's not healthy.
You guys agree with that?
I absolutely would agree. In fact, I'm the kind of person that's going to be mindful, and I want my personal perspective. So before I lash out, and I don't lash out, but before I even respond or get a reaction, I want to go ahead and do some inventory and see, is there any part that I need to take ownership? Is there an opportunity for me to grow? Is there something I need to learn, right?
Yeah.
And after I carefully think things out, then and only then will I state my position, and then I'll do it emphatically, especially if I feel that I'm right, and I'll make it clear. But
Right.
going to social media now, as opposed to turning in, you're turning out, so you're not really giving any thought. You're doing that for likes.
Yeah.
And so you're
Yeah.
entertain, you're
Yeah.
clicks, and so now you're really just
Entertainment.
entertaining,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
And what's lost in that is personal growth, right?
Yeah,
You can't grow,
exactly.
and the relationship can't grow if that's all you're doing is just entertaining.
Why are you following
Right.
me? You
Right.
did this, you
Right.
did that. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I handle, first of all, in a relationship, I realize, and this came with years, I guess. I got my own old joke in, but but this came with years. But I realized that I need to cherish the person that I am in a relationship with. I need to that person needs to be my main boss. That person needs to be the thing that I come in my door and I make sure there's no dust on it. I put a light on it. I need to cherish that thing, because when you don't cherish something, you take it for granted. So first of all, I am truly going to cherish the person that I want to hold that chair, that I want to sit in that throne next to me. As far as
Wouldn't put her on blast.
oh no, no, you won't. Well, I was going to say, and to that end, I value the relationship. I don't value the people's opinions out there. Being crass for a moment, it's like the old joke. It's like asses and elbows. Everybody's got one. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to value my thoughts and the thoughts of my queen. Now, as far as conflict goes, and I just had this conversation with your brother a few days ago. In communication, once you can't take things personal. If you care about a person, you cannot take the things that they say personal, because once you do, I'm offended. And if I'm offended, then if I'm communicating with you, you're going to be defensive because I'm offensive. And then it becomes a sporting contest. There's no communication. Everybody's trying to win their objective.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it shuts down the communication process. So I handle conflict firstly by not taking things personal, especially if I
So
care
is that a
about
growth
something.
process though? Because you say don't take things personal, but what if something is meant to be personal?
What-
And what do you mean when you say don't take? If you're in a relationship with someone or your wife, and there is an issue, and you guys have the dreaded, baby, I need to talk to you, and then all
Yeah.
men freak out automatically like, oh, what she want?
I know.
What I do?
I know. You start calling
Nervous
people,
system
hey,
activated.
Hey, did you,
Fight or
did,
flight.
Did you talk to
Lord.
you start calling people, hey, did you talk to Jackie? What did she want?
As soon as your wife says or your girl says, yeah, I want to talk to you about something, you're automatically on the defense with those few words. And no matter how long you've been married, I'm sure you still experience that.
Right.
Like, what did I do? What is the problem? So when you're saying don't take it personal, at certain stages, you guys are more, you've been around and you're married, and so you've worked through these bugs. But a younger guy like your son, what advice are you giving him to not take it personal? Because some of that is ego, and it's on both parts. Right?
Yes.
It takes two in any relationship, but some things are personal.
They are personal in how you view them. They are personal to you. They have an attachment to you. But when I say don't take it personal, don't become offended because someone doesn't agree with you. Don't become offended because someone wants to talk to you, and maybe it's an uncomfortable conversation. You can be uncomfortable without being offended. You know what I'm saying? You can
being said.
yeah.
You won't receive it.
Yeah, and because once I do that, and the thing about being offended that is really detrimental to relationships is that once I become offended, my view of you changes instantly. You know, you are no longer on that pedestal. You're no longer my mean boss. Now you're down. No, I'm sorry. Now you're down here as something that annoys me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to allow my queen to annoy me. I've been through. I did. I think I said earlier. I wore mine on my sleeve for a long time. But I have learned that I am, and that and God's the great I am. But I am not when I'm called. I'm not what is said to me. I am only how I respond to it, or how I take that into my spirit. Right. So I've learned that it is important to without being totally, without being throwing all the women in the same basket, so to speak. But I have found that sometimes it takes women a minute to maybe they're frustrated or whatever, so they'll kind of go around in a circle, and then they'll jump into the middle and say what really the issue is. So you know what I'm saying?
So what you're trying to say is we go all around the mulberry bush.
Unless it's the firstborn daughter.
Is women talk too much?
If it's the firstborn daughter, it's different. If it's your firstborn baby girl, it's different. She gonna go straight to the point. She gonna mirror daddy.
Yeah, that was true. I say what I'm thinking. So taking it, this question here is kind of a then and now question especially for our age group here. I'm the youngest here. I might say that. But
you wearing that proudly, aren't you?
I did. So the soft life era, that's the new word, what it's called now. So
what does that mean? Talk to us, because we're in a different generation.
So the soft life era, you've probably heard that.
No.
Nope. Okay. So a lot of the podcasts and shows out there, ladies are looking to be taken care of. It's the soft life era. They're looking for a man to be able to provide. So
that's soft light or old school? Because I ain't never stopped looking for that.
Right, okay,
so I'm not understanding.
Yeah, but it's a very so it's the difference between, I think, a partnership and a real relationship. So like if you're solely just looking for someone to take care of you, are you really looking for a heartfelt relationship, someone that you can connect with? So what now, then and now, like back then, Dad, was that your sole purpose to find a woman and take care of her and not have her do anything? Or now is it different? Are you looking for a partnership? So you can still
soft life is, so that I'm clear.
Life, yeah.
Soft life is a woman looking for a man to just solely take care of her.
Right. So you have to come with the house, you have to come with the car, you have to come with the bank account. a lot of women are not looking to grow with a person, okay? So that's that whole soft life era,
So
you
is
see
that
the
a
girl-
younger woman?
Hey, you go out and look at it, you'll see the ladies like, I have the bag, so the man has to come with the bag and then some, and so they may have a man for every different thing, they may pull him out the stable to go eat, pull them out the stable to go shopping, pull them out, it is a thing, so, as men, is it more important to have that partnership, obviously, in a relationship, so everything's not on the man, so to speak, you know what I mean? There are responsibilities of men to provide peace, to provide protection, right? But what works for your family or what's going to work for you, what is that? Because a soft life could be a partnership, but right.
I'm interested in this question.
I just said a lot, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
Well,
Tell me
did.
some soft life. Huh?
But I see where you're going. I see where you're going. I think every generation has had its moment of crazy, right?
Right.
When you go back to the baby boomers, you go back to, Gen Zs, X's, myself, and others. We've always had this period of time where things were questioned, and it was just, and then we've seen this before. So there's nothing new under the sun. I just think it sounds more repackaged. Right? A traditional thing that has said, okay, well, if you want to be traditional, this is what this looks like. I don't want to do nothing. I just want to receive.
Right.
The hard part about that is that I think our generation are having more conversations about relationships than about marriage.
Yes.
And so they have marriage ideologies, but they're looking for casual relationships.
Right.
And so you can't really engage in a healthy conversation about partnerships if you have no understanding of what a relationship is first. Right?
Yeah.
So if a man is looking to talk about a woman and what he needs from a woman, he should be thinking marriage. He should not be thinking window shopping.
Right, yeah.
If he's serious
Y'all
about
ladies heard that?
if he's serious about what it is that he's desiring, then he should be able to model that and reflect that and attract that. Right? Unfortunately, you end up attracting that little girl in her, and you end up joining up with that little boy in you in conflict, and you have to work through that process,
That toxic
right?
thing that they talk about now.
yeah.
Our mother believed that we just have to get rid of Windows 96 and start operating in 2026. We have to upgrade our information. These old heads need to sit down somewhere or go to a casket and get some sleep. Stop telling these young men bad information. We're tired of hearing your stories and the secrets. So that, a lot of things has to happen. We got to stop hiding secrets.
Right.
This generation coming up wants to operate in truth and integrity.
Right.
And they see when we're not being honest.
That's true. Yeah.
So I think we have to have more conversations like this, being more revealing to some of the struggles, because I think this is a part of our public health issue in our community.
Right, yeah.
We've lied, we covered up
Right.
for the sake of identity and family namesake while your children are being emotionally abused. And generation after generation, we find victims being built upon themselves, and now we blaming everybody that doesn't look like you, but the villain is in your home
That's true.
that shows up at Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
So that's my thinking of it. We got to stop playing. It's serious times, and there are great women out here, and there are some great men, and so we have to change the narrative and zoom out and see the world for what it really is. And if you don't have love of your own self and own self-respect for who you are, then how can you love someone else?
Can't.
You can't.
How can you
can't.
protect black women and children if you can't protect yourself from yourself?
That's true. Yeah.
Or protect them from you.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So the
Yeah.
smoke and mirrors thing
Yeah.
is definitely
Yeah.
You know?
a big thing. Yeah.
Paul, what you got? I'm curious.
Oh, I wouldn't want a contingent relationship. A contingent relationship is, so that means, okay, while I'm up,
Right.
all is
It's a
good. But
roller
if I
coaster.
lose my job or if I lose my
Everybody's
health,
down with me.
then I lose everything.
Right.
That's the reason why you have people, that commit suicide or whatever.
Right.
They can't handle breakups, and you have them assaulting
Right.
the spouse or whatever. They can't even separate amicably.
Yeah, 'cause
because
contingencies. I like that.
these contingencies, right? If we come together, then it needs to be 100%. If it's 100%, yes, I'm going to give 100%. You give 100% of whatever it is you have.
Right.
So, since we're never perfect, sometimes it might be 70-30. It might be 40-60. but at least we're giving each other, we're 100 showing up. Because anything short of that, I could do bad all by myself, right?
Yeah, and if I can't show up for you, cover me till I recover.
Right.
Don't get on the phone and start telling grandmama and sisters and this one that he ain't or she ain't. Man, what are we doing?
Right.
And so a partnership is when we walk together in concert together. You know what instrument you play, you know what instrument we play, so the music sounds harmonic, not chaotic. You understand what I'm saying? It's chaos, and so I think we become immune to the chaos.
Right.
And the chaos has become a part of our normacy.
Yep.
And so,
Right.
when it needs to be.
Exactly.
you know,
Chaos is different.
and so that person over there saying, hey, it was too loud, oh, you're a problem because you're not thinking like us.
Right.
But
Well-
people today in this generation, I'm sorry, JR.
Well, I was just go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say that as far as the soft life, as far as
I don't even
you
know
know,
what that is.
I'm like Two-Face and Batman. I'm of two minds about this.
Okay.
Because on the one hand, I'm supposed to want to take care of my queen.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to, but in the biblical space, my queen is supposed to be a help me. If I have to take care of her and she is unable to do anything but be taken care of, then she can't help me. Because, like you said, if you go down, the queen has got to have the helm.
But I think with the soft life, I like the way he said that, is that it's just a little term. There's nothing new under the sun. Everything comes around. We just name it something different.
Well, yeah.
So it's called the soft life, but I think the difference is the intent. Women do want to be taken care of. That's what we do want. I don't know any woman that does not. The problem is in the soft life is what I'm understanding. I don't know much about the soft life thing. It doesn't sound right to me. But in the soft life, that's all she wants to be.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
She doesn't want to add any value to you. She just wants to say, I just want to be cute and I'm just going to sit here and you going to work 4 jobs and I'm going to eat lobster. That's what the soft life, that's what I'm
Right, yeah.
And her happiness would be.
and my happiness,
Right.
yeah.
Instead of-
And if
yeah.
you can't provide, the Cartier and the this and the that, then my life with you ain't gonna be too long.
Right.
So I think that's the difference. But let's not get that twisted. All women want to be taken care of, but just not in that way. Not all women. I want to add something to you, a
Right.
value.
Right.
Or
Right.
what you give me,
Right.
I need to multiply that.
Right.
Because
Right.
taking
Yeah.
care of me is not just financially, it's
Emotionally,
yeah,
it's physically, it's a
all the
whole
things.
gamut. We're a
What
little
we're
bit more
doing is-
complicated
Right.
than women are. So,
Yeah.
but that soft life, I don't know.
Well, yeah, no, and that exactly. If you can't add to me, then eventually, because we are spiritually, we are wells, and while we give water, the water has to come from somewhere for me to give it. And in the Kemetic tradition, women are the water and men are the fire. And your water cools my fire so that it doesn't get out of control. But my fire keeps your water warm, so that it is comfortable. It is usable. It's not, because cold water and it ain't good for much but drinking. You know what I'm saying? So.
Well, ladies out there, these men are really coming up with some good little sayings. It's really,
No.
babe, I like what he just said about the music. They got to make beautiful music together.
Yeah.
Going back to our previous conversation previously, the social media and technology has amplified the deficits. Right?
Yes.
And the desires.
Right.
So the more I see something, I'm going to covet that. I'm going to have an unrealistic expectation because I'm being programmed by culture to expect this, not to expect that. And so I never come into full understanding of who I am. I come into full understanding of what I can get.
Well, I want to, yeah, and based on that, I want to just ask a question then. Can we immerse ourselves in culture and still be individuals?
Absolutely.
And if so, how do we do that? Because it seems like the paradox kind of came into view with what you were saying. So if we are going to immerse ourselves in culture and still be individuals, where we realize that we are kings and queens, and that we have the expectation should be our own. It shouldn't be the expectation of others. It should be our own. So how do we? I'll start with you, Paul. How do we immerse ourselves in culture and still be individuals? Because the culture, it just pulls from us. So I want you to post 10 times a day. I want you to spill yourself. You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't seem to give.
I would say the way we immerse ourselves in culture is get a job, everybody, right? Let's start there. But really, I think that it's important for people to have purpose, because we can't make our spouse or make anybody happy. Our person is going to be happy, and that has to come from within. So
Right.
people have to find out who it is that they are and what it is that they want in life. That's not all going to come from a relationship, because we all have a dream, right? And so we need to find out what that dream is. And so then as a couple, we need to support each other in that dream.
Right.
And by doing so, not only we're becoming happier and a stronger individual, because we're able to grow into whoever it is we were designed to be, but then we're also being able to contribute, because now we're giving a better version of ourselves to each other, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I think,
I like that. Well, Ms. Jackie, how do we immerse ourselves in culture and remain individual?
First of all, y'all are on the panel.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, but I'm interested in y'all.
He's interested in Not ladies first?
This is a man's perspective.
Oh, it is a male perspective. Okay. I stand corrected.
Inquiring minds want to know.
You should ask me that question on the last panel.
Tom, what you got?
Oh, man. So I think, for one thing, first we must heal
Yes, definitely.
as men before we emerge into culture in totality. We must first go from healing to creating, building, and sustaining. What does that look like? It's about identity and finding out who you truly are. And so we got to go back home and find the framework that's going to create a healthy community, not just a healthy man. So I just think it's important for when you're interacting with culture and to be an individual, you have to be able to see where culture shifts and know when to pivot. Every trend, every idea, every news story, or every political agenda is not designed for you to emerge with, right?
I gotta ask. I'm sorry. I gotta run with it because you said we gotta go home. Because the etymology of the word religion is re is a prefix, and it means to tie back. Religion is origin. So the etymology, literally, religion means to go home, to tie one back with its origin. So how do we go home, and where is home? See, I'm with you, but how do we? Where is home? Where is home? You know what I'm saying? Because that's it. That's the great I am. I am what? What am I?
Who are you reflecting?
What am I? So I'm dropping this. So I can't even ask the women because they said this is our perspective. But I had to run with that because that was deep. But where's home?
It's only my experiences. So, see, I want to be around men that are going to have some real conversations, right? And I think men need community in order to be successful in the culture. Mm-hmm. Because the culture that has presented community and family to us, they have perverted it. And we've lost the true essence of our structure in our family, in our home. We think patriarchy is the way to go because we've been programmed to believe that. Right? So when I say go back home, I'm saying go back to your true origin of who you are. Go back to your grandmothers and your grandfathers and your aunts and your uncles and find out who you truly are. Get the real story. Everybody didn't come from Africa.
Right.
All of us wasn't slaves. All of us didn't come from South Dallas, but we got here fast as we could, right? Right? So my point is, your community starts between your ears, and in order to be effective in culture, you must have a sound mind.
And I'm going to say this, and
Period.
as a people, as a culture, kind of I hate to go back, but the holidays that we base love off of should be based, meaning, we can want to do things because we want to, but it would be we're losing out on so many good people because we're expecting something on something that really does not exist, like the different days.
Right, the different, right.
Right, yeah.
Right.
So if we choose to participate, that's fine, but I wouldn't lose out on a relationship that really could be meaningful because I didn't get something on a particular day. You know, that really is not because back when, you know, prior to my dad's time, you know, those days weren't there. People were loving one another and giving gifts to one another when they so chose. It wasn't designed to be just on a specific date. So you see a lot of people like, oh, you know, oh, you only got some lotion on Valentine's Day, but what about all the other days? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But, you know, but again, just going back home means, hey, let's take it back to where we're back to the basics when it wasn't so complicated.
Yeah.
So before we close out, the last thing, because we got to do this, we got to continue this conversation. The last question I wanted to get out was, with all the things that we've said, me and Paul kind of talked about this in the car, but what is more complicated do you guys believe? And that is finding love or keeping it, you know?
That's a good question.
I think that finding a real love is complicated, but because there aren't a lot of people out there that are cut for us. You know what I'm saying? So we have to endure. But maintenance is important. You know, maintenance, and anything that you don't maintain dies. I don't care if it's your car. You don't take care of your clothes. You don't take care of your clothes. You know what I'm saying? Anything that you don't maintain dies.
Right.
So maintenance, I think finding the right person is harder, and I think a lot of people settle and don't find the right person, and they bring drama and things into their lives. But maintenance is you know, it is paramount. You know, I can't. You know,
So they're equal. Sir, they're
yeah,
equally important.
they're equally important. They're like
Then and now.
Yes.
Okay.
I would say definitely the maintenance, because finding, you say yourself, I was blessed. I mean, I wish I could have just orchestrated that, but I couldn't. I was searching long enough. I was searching high and low, right?
Right.
But it happened for me, fortunately, and that's a blessing. But the maintenance part, because see, life be lifing, right? You
Right,
know,
yeah.
you have the kids don't come with a manual. Marriage doesn't come with a manual.
Right.
Everything we're learning on the flyer, outside pressures, right? Culturally, at work, this, that, and the other. You still have to make certain that you're showing up in that relationship through it all, through the storms and this, that, and the other. You have to survive. And you know, life is there's going to be some things that's going to be thrown at you, right? So how do you weather the storm? How do you make the main thing, you know? So continuously rekindling that flame, making certain that spouse knows that they're the most important person to you, right? And if that's who they are, if that's what they are to you, then you need to show up every day and act like you know. That's like I like to say.
Yeah, and you know, we do have to wind. This is such a.
We got 30 seconds. What you got? Finding it or keeping it?
Keeping it, because it doesn't necessarily, love doesn't always translate into something that feels good. I want to see when it's dark, are you going to willing to stand in that pit hole with me? Because I'm going to stand there with you. So the reciprocity of that and maintaining it is important.
Love it.
Yeah. Well, do y'all have anything before we take it out?
I think y'all did
I
excellent.
think y'all did excellent. We should give
I
you guys.
appreciate it.
I'm in good company.
Well,
There are still good men out there, ladies, but these are taken. I'm so sorry.
yes, all three of these are taken. Yes, they are.
You gotta get your own.
Nobody else's.
But I do want to just say on the going home that for me, the I am, because I teach kids this. My name could be Fred. It could be Bill. That should not affect the I am. I am and for me, the I am is a follower, a son of God and a follower of Christ. You know, that's the I am. That's the foundation that I stand on, and everything that emanates from me should be based upon that. And I'm not, although I am a follower of Christ, but I'm not saying anybody else has to be. That's a choice. But wherever you are, you have to know where you are so that you can stand, so that you can be rooted, you know, and not and sway with the wind instead of be blown like chaff.
Right.
We do have to get out of here. I'm sorry, but I had to get that out there because it's important. We got to do this again. We got to keep doing this. This is a great idea. I don't know if you or Kim thought of it, but this is a great idea. We got to keep doing this. So
to bring us closer together is definitely allow and allow us to go home to find out who we are by having these conversations.
Yeah.
So as we always said, you have to love yourself so you can love somebody else.
And we will be back next week, same facts time, same facts channel. And
y'all for tuning in.
thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Facebook. Thank you, TikTok. Thank you, YouTube. Thank you, everybody, for continuing to hang with us and grow. We appreciate you. We love you, and we will see you next week. Take care.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.
Hey, this is Charlie,
This is JR.
host of Speaking the Facts with Charlie and JR, broadcasting live each week on Wednesday at 7 p.m. from Fishbowl Studios.